What's going on, everybody? It's Raymond and Scar here with another episode of the Brew Sportscast.
Dadgummit. Stupid bottle opener.
Welcome back, y'all. Week 8 of the Brew Sportscast. I see you got something. You're at work and you're drinking a bottle. What is that?
Sarsaparilla, straight from Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
What is a sarsaparilla?
Sarsaparilla is an old-fashioned drink. It's very similar to root beer. It's almost like a sweeter root beer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Brings me back to my days of Pinewood when we used to go on the field trips to the Battle of Olustee battlefield.
Nice.
Yeah, that rock candy and sarsaparilla were like our go-to things for.
Nice. So technically, that's a soda.
Yep.
Nice. Cool. Well, we had some stuff come up last week, some technical difficulties in scheduling, so we didn't do our episode last week. But we still did our pick'em and our fantasy trust bust and thrust, so we'll still go over those.
Yep. So we want to start with the pick'ems.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah. Okay. And so the first one is Jacksonville at New Orleans, and I think we both picked Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, we both did that. Yep.
Yep. Speaking of that, is there anything you wanted to say about that game?
Real quick, the defense kept us in that game. I will say that because our offense, the second half, just absolutely crapped the bed.
Yeah.
But they scored when they needed to. And that's all that matters. We got the dub.
Yep. As long as we keep winning, find ways to win.
4 games in 19 days, and we went 4-0. You don't hear that in Jacksonville.
Yeah, you also don't hear them talking about it on ESPN or anything. They're still not showing us love. The one thing, I think you sent me the video that I thought was really cool. It was the dudes, I forget, I don't know if it was SportsCenter or what, but it was like 3 or 4 guys sitting at a table. One of them was like he had like long dark hair.
And they call him the Prince. He calls Trevor the Prince.
So he was talking about, he's like, Jaguars, you cannot deny that they are an elite team now. And the other guys are like, oh, they're 5-2. It's only a 7 games. It's not a big enough sample size. And he was like, if you want a big enough sample size, he's like, let's look over the last year, since November of last year. He's like, outside of playing Kansas City, they've had to play Kansas City 3 times. Outside of playing Kansas City, Jaguars are 13-2 in the last year.
Okay, that's Rich Eisen. That's the Rich Eisen show. Okay, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
And
was that the one where they were talking about Detroit and the Jags making it to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think so. And then they were talking about he's like, look at the last year. They're 13-2 outside of playing Kansas City 3 times. They've had to play Kansas City 3 times. He's like, they've had 1 bad loss to Houston and they've lost to Detroit. Those are their only losses in the last year since November. And he's like, there's no way you can't talk about the Jags being an elite NFL team.
Exactly. I mean, we're right there, and when we preview the Steelers game, we'll get more into that. But yes, I really think we've turned the corner. You know, we are becoming an elite team, and these last 19 days really showed what they're capable of.
Yep. Yeah, the turnaround after the Houston loss, the momentum game in London, and continuing on from that was
So let's just keep it going.
Next up is Las Vegas at Chicago. I picked Las Vegas. I think you picked Chicago?
No, I picked Las Vegas.
We both missed that.
Yeah.
We had Cleveland at Indy. I actually picked Indy. I don't know why.
I picked Indy as well.
I don't know why either one of us picked Indy after seeing what Minshew did against the Jags.
Well, you got to think. I heard this the other day. The Colts are averaging 20 points a game, 20-plus points a game.
I guess they got Jonathan Taylor back too.
Exactly, and Cleveland had a backup quarterback in.
Yep, who killed it. We both missed that one.
We both missed the next one too.
We both missed that. We both picked Buffalo.
Buffalo sucks
this year. Washington at the Giants. I picked Washington.
I picked Washington too. Giants
we both missed that.
Yeah.
Atlanta at Tampa Bay. I picked Atlanta.
I had Tampa Bay.
So I got that one right. Detroit at Baltimore. I had Detroit. I think We both
Yeah,
had
we both
Detroit.
picked Detroit.
Both missed that.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh got the Rams. I had the Rams.
I had the Rams as well.
We both missed that. Chargers at Kansas City. For whatever reason, God knows why, I went with the underdog and thought that Chargers were going to upset Kansas City. You know what I thought it? I thought every week the NFL has like that one team that's
That one.
guaranteed to win and
Yeah,
then blows it. I didn't realize it was going to be San Fran. I thought
yeah,
it was going to be. I thought it was going to be the chart or Kansas City.
right,
Uh,
right.
But
I wish
yep,
it was, to be honest.
yep. And then next up is Miami at Philly. I think we both picked Philly.
We both picked Philly.
Got that.
I don't think
So
Miami's very good.
so right now our records, I'm standing at 41-29
Yep.
and you're at 46-24.
Yes, sir.
So you
I'm.
have a 5-game lead going into this week.
Yep. Last week it was 4, one game at a time.
Well, we'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so we moving into this week's pick'ems.
Yeah, we can do. Yeah.
All right, so this week we
Hold on.
chose the
Hold on.
game.
Hold on. Hold on. Time out. Do we want to do the pick'ems before we preview the Jags game, or
I mean,
we
it
can
doesn't matter, I guess. We can,
we can preview the game as we pick it?
yeah, we can preview the game
Okay.
once we get to that
All
slot.
right. Let's keep going.
All right, so this week the games we chose is Tampa Bay at Buffalo, New England at Miami, Jacksonville at Pittsburgh, Atlanta at Tennessee, Houston at Carolina, Rams at Dallas, Minnesota at Green Bay, New Orleans at Indy, Cleveland at Seattle, Chicago at the Chargers.
Before we start, let's just say, like, if we have something to say about the teams, like those matchups, let's just say it.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right.
Gosh, we're in week 8 and we're still
Yeah.
we still don't know what
We're not
format
very
we're doing.
organized.
All right, so first up, Tampa Bay at Buffalo.
You know, we did these this afternoon. I sent them, you sent them, but I'm going with Buffalo only because it's Tampa Bay. But I do think Tampa could actually win with how bad Buffalo is.
I will say on my picks this week, I'm not very confident because, like you said, we did this last minute and I didn't do much research. I literally made these picks in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But Buffalo at home, I think the same thing that Tampa Bay could easily upset them, especially the way Buffalo's been playing. But I have Buffalo winning.
Yep. I think just because they're at home.
New England at Miami. So
Yeah. I've got Miami winning. New England may have done something this past week against Buffalo, maybe turn a leaf or something. Hopefully, I don't know, but Miami's a bit banged up. But I'm going with Miami.
I'm going with Miami too. I think New England is making strides in the right direction, but I feel like Miami's offense is going to have a really big bounce back week.
Yeah. So,
Um,
all right, the big one.
Jacksonville at Pittsburgh. So I feel like our momentum coming off of New Orleans, and I honestly can see us losing
Yeah.
2 games the rest of the year,
Oh,
possibly
okay.
3. So, I mean, just not to give away my picks for the rest of the year, but I see us losing to San Fran and then either Cincinnati or Baltimore. One
Okay.
of those two. And then what's our last game of the season? Is it Tennessee or Indy?
I don't know.
Um, Whatever our last game of the season is, that's the only way I see us having a third loss is if we're sitting players, if we're number 1 seed.
Okay. That could be hard because we could still. I mean,
I'm not
yeah,
saying it's guaranteed. I'm just
yeah.
saying I could realistically, the way we're playing, I could see us only losing to San Fran and either Baltimore or Cincinnati.
I can see that. I can
Yeah.
see that, and I hope that happens. I hope we run the table and
Yep.
go freaking 15-2.
Yep.
But yeah, I this one obviously we're both probably going with Jacksonville, but
Yeah.
this we said last week that it could be a trap game against New Orleans. Pittsburgh isn't a bad team.
I'll just put it this way: we for sure have the better quarterback.
Yes,
We for sure have the better running back.
yes,
We for sure have the better wide receiver group.
yes.
and I would say our defenses are what are going to battle it
About
out.
the same. Boy, if Patrick Peterson does something stupid this week and hurts one of our guys like he did Nick Chubb, oh boy.
Yeah,
Like, I don't want no
but
cheap shots like that.
offensive wise, hands down, there's no way they compete. We have the better offense if we play how
Yes.
we
Yeah.
should.
Yeah. I'm tired of it. Like, they just, once we get ahead, just keep going. Stop letting up.
Yeah, I
We
don't
do
even
it
think
every week.
I don't think Trevor Lawrence should even be compared to Kenny Pickett. I think Trevor Lawrence is more in the group of Justin
Dude,
Herbert and all of those
dude,
elite
no, 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 no,
quarterbacks.
no. Dude, he is by far the third best quarterback in the National Football League right now. Right
Yeah,
now, he's the third best quarterback behind, uh, okay, maybe fourth behind Tua. But it's Patrick, Jalen, Tua, and Trevor. And those two could be
yeah,
switched.
yeah. Shit, even Mahomes has a bunch of turnovers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm
Like,
tired
he's
of
up
people.
there.
I'm tired of people like talking about like Trevor makes one mistake and they want to talk about it. I'm like, dude, have you seen how many interceptions Mahomes has this year? Like he has more interceptions than Russell Wilson.
It's
Like,
because it's Kansas City. Tom Brady could, yeah, yeah.
I'm not
And
saying
it's
Mahomes is. I'm not saying he sucks, but I'm just saying I'm tired of like people not putting Trevor Lawrence in the conversation.
it's because he plays for the Jags. And until
Yeah,
we put the NFL on notice, we'll still be the Jags, you
yeah.
know? So,
But anyways,
yeah.
Jacksonville over Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
All right, Atlanta at Tennessee.
Um, this we did this last minute, but it still took me a second to think about it. I'm going with Tennessee.
Uh,
Even though you're going with Tennessee, right?
yeah,
Okay. Even though all of their players, defense and offense, are on the trading block, they are willing to trade anybody from their team.
yeah.
What I heard earlier today, Baltimore wants Derrick Henry.
That would be insane.
Baltimore is most likely going to get Derrick Henry.
It would actually, if you think about it, be a perfect fit because Baltimore is more of a running team.
Exactly.
That's imagine so Gus Edwards is good, but imagine having an elite like a star running back like Derrick Henry on that team.
If he went to Baltimore, I would have to say they would probably be the favorites in the AFC.
Yeah.
But I mean, they would clearly beat Kansas City.
You imagine an option with Lamar and Derrick Henry.
Oh my god, dude, that would be insane.
Yeah.
That would be insane. But I mean, great, get him out of Tennessee. We play Tennessee twice
Or
here.
even just freaking a quarterback around around the end where Derrick Henry is lead blocking for Lamar
Oh
Jackson.
my gosh,
You know?
right? But I mean, get him out of Tennessee. We play them twice this year, but yet we still have to play Baltimore here. So
Yeah. All
we'll
right.
see. Yeah, on to Houston and Carolina.
So this is the one that I think you're going to be surprised about, and
You're
this
going
is
with
the one that
Carolina? Wow.
I'm going with Carolina. They're 0-6. The same way I look at teams that are undefeated is the same way I look at this. The streak has to end at some point, and what better team for it to end against is Houston. They're one of the weaker teams that they'll play.
True. True. I I'm going with Houston.
Now, stats, if you look at it as purely like on paper stats and everything, obviously Houston's going to win. But I just have a gut feeling this week that Carolina upsets Houston.
Is this that one NFL game that you think that people would bet on Houston because it's almost guaranteed because Carolina hasn't won a
Yep.
game?
Yep.
Okay. We'll see. I got Houston though.
Yeah. All right. Rams at Dallas.
Oh, I'm going with Dallas.
I'm going with Dallas too. Yep.
Not much to say.
Um, Minnesota at Green Bay.
Minnesota.
Yeah, that's obvious.
I
After,
think they've turned it around too. They've turned it around
especially
too.
after last week's performance, I don't think they go from something like that to losing to a team like Green Bay.
No.
Um, New Orleans at Indy.
I'm going with the Colts.
Ooh,
Yep.
okay.
I think I just noticed your name, by the way, on here. I just noticed that. I look down at the corner of my screen. Wow. Wow,
What is
dude.
it?
I'm not saying it out loud. Ray
Let's just say
sucks cocks and dicks with an S. Wow, dude. Isn't that the same thing?
yeah.
Cocks and dicks, that's the same thing?
Yeah, it's a play off of Hot Tub Time Machine.
Mm.
He when they went back, the one dude, and the one friend with the long hair and all, uh he pulls out the drawer and he's like, it's still here, and he like carved the other friend. He's like, so and so sucks cocks and dicks.
Wow. Okay. Back to our fantasy football, or not fantasy, our pick'em. But no, New
Yeah, so
Orleans is struggling.
New Orleans is struggling, so is Indy. Here's the way I looked at it: is one of the things that made me pick them is I have New Orleans in my fantasy league, and the fantasy league, the challenge this week is most points from a defense.
And you're going with New Orleans?
They're going against Minshew, who has been turnover prone the last few games or couple games.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, I love Minshew, but I think Minshew against New Orleans defense does not come out good.
I,
Um,
I can see that. I just think New Orleans offense is just struggling right now with Derek Carr, who's unhappy with the way this team's playing.
isn't Chris Olave out too? Didn't he just get arrested?
Yeah, I don't know if he's suspended or not, but yeah.
I would assume after something like that, he would be suspended for at least a game, but
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
But we'll see.
Yep. Cleveland and Seattle.
I'm going with Seattle.
Me too. Seattle.
Yep. Um, Chicago at Los Angeles
This was a
Chargers.
tough with
This one
Justin
really
Fields
was.
being out. This is real tough. You had a rookie come in and beat whoever they played last week. Uh,
Yeah.
but I'm going with the Chargers. I think the Chargers finally get a win and go to
Yeah.
3-4.
I just can't
Or
see Chicago keeping up the hot streak they're on. And
they're
so
one game.
well, I mean, they've offensive wise, like, look
Yeah.
at how DJ Moore's been performing.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
I don't think their offense continues to click the way it has been.
Right. How
So
many do we
yes, I'm
have
going with
different?
Chargers. Um, I think two, because I went with Carolina, and then I went with New
Yep.
Orleans.
Okay. So I can have a 7-game lead next week or a 3-game
Yeah,
lead.
yeah, I think it'll be a 3-game lead.
All right.
All right, let's go into fantasy. Let's review Week 7's Trust, Bust, and Thrust.
And the Beast of the Week. We can't forget that.
Yep.
I
So you
missed him.
start with the quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks. My quarterbacks last week, my trust was Josh Allen. I had him getting 21 points, and he got 24.3 in
All
a
right.
loss. In a loss against the Patriots. My bust was Geno Smith. I had him getting 13, and here on the Brew Sportscast, the bust at quarterback is 13, and he ended up getting 13.7. So that is not a hit for me, unfortunately. My thrust was Matthew Stafford. I had him getting 17, and he only got 14. So that's a no-no, right? Or is it? Yeah.
No,
No,
14 is a hit.
14.4. So he did hit. So that's 2 out of 3 for me on the
All right.
quarterbacks.
For my quarterbacks, my trust was Jalen Hurts. I had him doing 24.6, and he did 23.26.
Oh, wow. Close.
My bust was Kirk Cousins. I thought going against San Fran, he would have sucked it up.
Yeah.
And he ended up doing 21.02. And then my thrust was Sam Howell. I had him doing 17.7, and he ended up doing 9.46.
Oh, so I won
So
that.
I missed 2 out of 3 on the quarterbacks.
Okay.
All right. Running backs. My trust was Austin Eckler. I had him doing 19.8, and he did 5.6.
Wow.
My bust was Rashad White. I had him doing 8.2, and he did 15.9. Why did I mark
Oh.
that? I marked that as I checked that off like I got that right. And then my thrust was Zach Evans. I thought Zach Evans was supposed to be the starter.
For Tampa?
No, for the Rams.
Oh.
And I had him doing 10.8, And then they gave the ball to Darrell Henderson Jr. most of the time and Royce Freeman, and Zach
Yeah.
Evans had 0 fantasy
Oh,
points.
that sucks.
So I missed all 3 in running backs.
Dang. All right. So my running backs, my trust was Saquon Barkley. I had him doing 23, and he did 18.8. My bust, I got wrong, was Ramondre Stevenson. I had him doing 8 against Buffalo. He did 14.5.
All right.
My thrust was Jonathan Taylor. I think this was his second or third game back. I'm not sure. I had him doing 14, and he ended up doing 21. So I hit 2 out of 3 there.
Nice. Before
Yep.
going receivers, I'm going to turn on the music real quick for the store. Let me know if it's like too loud.
Okay. This man always having to step away. Hey, hey. Oh, I hate this song, dude. I hate it because it's one of the Phillies baseball players' walk-up songs.
Uh, I mean, is it too loud or?
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's nice having a little music in the background, to be honest.
All right. Go ahead with receivers.
Okay, my receivers, my trust was Stephon Diggs. I had him doing 24, and he only did 17.8.
All right, but you still hit.
Yep. My bust was Amari Cooper. I had him doing 10, and he did 4.2.
Dang.
Yep. And my thrust was Josh Reynolds. I thought he'd do good, but then I realized he was playing Baltimore. So I had him doing 14, and he did 6.3.
Nice. So 2 out of 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Wide receivers. My trust was Cooper Kupp. I had him doing 29.8, and he did 6.9.
Wow.
My bust was Jerry Jeudy. I had him doing 8.7, and he did 11.4. So I missed
Dang.
that one too by 0.4. And then my thrust was Joshua Palmer. I had him doing 13.4, and he did 18.3.
Yeah,
So I
Palmer's a
only got
good.
one.
Palmer's good with Mike Williams being out.
Yep. All right, tight ends. My trust. So I missed receiver. So far, I missed quarterback, running back, and receiver.
Yeah, bad
Um,
week.
yep. My trust was George Kittle. I had him doing 13.2, and he did 13. So I hit that one. My bust was Tyler Higbee. I had him doing 5, and he did 1.7. So I hit that.
Nice.
And then my thrust was Jonu Smith. I had him doing 11.7, and he only did 5.7. So I got 2 out of 3 on the tight ends.
Okay, so you got one right, one category
Yep.
right.
Yep.
My trust at tight end this past week was T.J. Hawkinson. I had him doing 10, and he did 19.6.
All right.
My bust was Kyle Pitts. I had him doing 6, and he went right above the bust line at 7.7. So, yeah. And then my thrust was Logan Thomas. I had him doing 9, and he did 9.1. So I hit 2 out of 3 there.
Nice.
So I hit on every one besides wide receivers.
Okay.
Yep.
Beast of the week.
Oh, yeah. Kind
Um,
of.
so
It
my
wasn't.
beast of,
Go ahead.
my beast of the week was Cooper Kupp.
Well, what do you do again? 9 or 5?
6.9.
Wow. Well, my beast of the week was Stephon Diggs.
All right, and the
So
real
not much.
beast. Yeah, he did 17. You beat me. The real beast of the week though was Lamar Jackson at 33.88.
Jeez. Hey.
All right, moving on to this week. Trust
Yep.
bust thrust. So you can start with quarterbacks.
All right. My trust at quarterback this week, week 8 of the NFL season, is Lamar Jackson. Last week he did 33.8. This week against, I don't know who they're playing.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah, the Cardinals, I'm going to give him 27.
Okay.
Uh, my bust is, once again, is Russell Wilson. Last week he did 13.8. I'm only going to give him 11.
Okay.
And my thrust, this is going to be a shocker to you. This is going to be a shocker, and I don't know how how well rostered he is in fantasy yet, but my thrust is CJ Stroud.
Okay.
Yep. The last week he was on a bye, but before that he was going well over 15. So
Okay.
I have him doing 18 against the Panthers this week.
Okay.
Yep.
So my trust is Lamar Jackson.
Oh wow. Okay. Same as me.
I have him projected to do 34.2.
Wow. Okay.
My bust is Kenny Pickett. He's projected 14. Last week he did 15.2. Going against the Jags, I have him doing 12.6.
Can I ask you a question really quick? About that game. Your Brandon, your cousin, said that everybody practiced today besides Zay.
Yeah,
I wonder if that includes Tyson Campbell.
I would assume so if he said everybody
Yeah.
but Zay.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up at the injury report for today's practice because we definitely need him this weekend.
Yeah. My thrust is Zach Wilson. He's projected 12.8. Last week he was on a bye. I forgot what he did the week before, but I know they did good. He's going against the Giants. I have
Yeah,
him
they
doing
beat
15.
Philly. They beat
Yeah.
Philly the
I
week before.
So I have him doing 15.2 against the Giants.
Nice.
All right, running backs. My trust is our boy Travis Etienne Jr. Projected 18.1. Last week he did 22.7. Going against Pittsburgh, I have him doing 21.1.
I wonder what they allow per rushing attempt.
Yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
My bust is Brian Robinson Jr. He's projected 8.3. Last week he did 8.3. He's going against Philly, and
Oh yeah,
I have him doing 7.9.
nice.
And then my thrust is Daryl Henderson Jr. He's projected 11.9. Last week he did 13.6. He's going against Dallas, and I have him doing 12.1.
I'm gonna laugh when they play your boy Zach Evans.
Right. I did Zach Evans last week. It didn't turn out. This week I've got to do the right one, Henderson Jr. All right. Yep. You against Detroit. Okay. Okay. Against Baltimore. Yep. Yeah. Dang. 14. You'll see in a minute. 14 is pretty good. All right. So my trust, most people are going to think I'm an idiot for this because he hasn't been consistent. I think he has a breakout week, bounce back week. My trust is Calvin Ridley. He's projected 12.5. Last week he only did 1.5. Going against Pittsburgh, I have him doing 15.8. Yep. My bust is Terry McLaurin. He's projected 14.8. Last week he actually did 15. Going against Philly, I have him doing 10.8. And then my thrust is Kendrick Bourne. Um, Going against Miami, I have him doing 14.2. Yep. Tight ends. My trust is Dallas Goedert, projected 10.6. Last week he did 18.7. Going against Washington, I have him doing 12.9. My bust is David Njoku, projected 9.5. Last week he did 10.4 actually, he did good. Going against Seattle, I only have him doing 5.6. And then my thrust is Dalton Kincaid. He's projected 10.4. Last week he stepped it up and did 15.5. And going against Tampa Bay, I have him doing 8.9. Yep. All right. Okay. 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 All right. Yep. Well, we still have one more segment. Do you want to say what you wrote down first, or? All right. So, Beast of the Week. Who you got? Okay. 27 is your Beast of the Week. Okay. Who's your second choice? Well, that's who you're going with. My Beast of the Week, my first choice is Lamar Jackson at 34.2. 34.2. My second choice, who I'm going to have to go with, is Amon Ross St. Brown. That's a surprise. I have him going against Las Vegas. I have him doing 30.1. Yep. Because I wanted to do somebody different. No, no. Your beast of the week is the person you can think is going to score the most that week. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to cover in fantasy. Now, my trust was Lamar Jackson, but sometimes I like to throw different players in my trust other than my beast of the week so I can cover different players. Yeah. Yeah, who do you have above us? Okay. Who you would put Baltimore above us? Okay. Would you put Miami above us? At this moment, yes, after their losses. I would probably agree with you some. I Even though I love to see him at number 3, at this point I would probably put Kansas City, Philly. I would probably agree with you possibly on Baltimore at number 3. And then It would be a toss up between us and Miami at 4-5. What about the Jets? Other than their record, I mean, their offense is clicking, their defense is performing. So I mean, we at least both agreed that we should be top 5 as far as power rankings go. Yeah, that would be cool. And then we can, but we're not adding in that segment that you wanted to add in, like top 10. You were gonna say you wanted us to add in top 10 hottest dudes in the NFL each week. No, I just want to say that joke was for Brandon. Shout out to you, man. I made that for you. Yeah, unlike some of our friends. Nice. Then I'll make sure I keep bashing you. And I'm Scar. This is the Brew Dude Sportscast. Keep it brewing.